I'm sitting at my desk, staring blankly at the monitor. My thoughts are jumbled and I can't concentrate. Only one thing keeps circling in my head. My marriage is falling apart. Lisa and I have barely spoken for months, and we've completely forgotten about our intimate life. Something needs to be done, but what? I can't confide in my friends, and going to a psychologist seems daunting. And then it hits me. Mary. My mother-in-law has always been a wise woman. She will definitely be able to give good advice. Without further ado, I dial her number. After a couple of rings, Mary picks up. "Hello, Kevin. So good to hear from you. How are you? How's Lisa?" "Hi, Mary. To be honest, not great. That's why I'm calling. Could you meet with me, say, tonight? We need to have a serious talk." "Oh, don't tell me you two are having problems. Of course, I'm always ready to help in any way I can. Let's have dinner at that cute little restaurant, remember, where we celebrated your anniversary?" "Great idea. I'll pick you up at 7, okay?" "It's a date. See you then, dear." I feel relieved. The first step is taken. Now I just have to trust Mary's wisdom. She has always treated me like her own son. I think together we can find a way out of this situation. Evening comes quickly. I pick up Mary and we head to the restaurant. The whole way we chat casually about various little things, avoiding the main topic. But I can feel that Mary is concerned and wants to know what's going on as soon as possible. Finally, we're at the table and placing our order. The waiter leaves, and Mary looks at me intently over her glass of wine. "So tell me, Kevin, what's wrong? I can see you're not yourself." I sigh and start pouring my heart out. I tell her about the growing distance between Lisa and me, about the endless arguments over trifles, about how we've become strangers. Mary listens attentively, without interrupting, and only when I run out of steam does she softly say, "You know, Kevin, every marriage goes through rough patches, but if people love each other, they can always find their way back to one another. You and Lisa just need to learn to hear each other, to be more patient." Her words sound convincing and I nod. A glimmer of hope warms my soul. Maybe not all is lost. We finish our wine, and I feel the atmosphere between us has changed, as if we've become closer, more connected. Mary radiates such support and understanding that I can't help but be drawn to her. Dinner passes in a warm, almost homey atmosphere. Mary and I share memories, joke, and laugh. She tells me about her life, about how difficult it was for her to raise her daughters alone after the divorce. I'm filled with even greater respect for this strong woman. "You know, Henry and I had our problems too," Mary suddenly says, sipping her wine. "At some point, we just stopped hearing and understanding each other. We'd spend days on end at work, and when we were at home, we'd argue about everything." I look at her in surprise. I never thought that their seemingly perfect marriage had its difficulties too. "And how did you cope?" I ask with genuine interest. "We didn't," Mary smirks bitterly. "We never managed to find common ground and ended up getting divorced. But I don't want you and Lisa to repeat our mistake. You're still young. You have your whole lives ahead of you. Fight for your love." I feel her words penetrate my very heart. Yes, I love Lisa and don't want to lose her. I need to make every effort to bring our family back. "Thank you, Mary," I say sincerely, covering her hand with mine. "You have no idea how much your support means to me." "You're always welcome, dear." She smiles, squeezing my hand. "I'm saying this not only as Lisa's mother, but as your friend. I really cherish our relationship." A lump rises in my throat. For some reason, our closeness now feels so right and natural, as if we are kindred spirits. We look into each other's eyes, and I see something there that I hadn't noticed before, not just motherly love and care, but something more. Mary is the first to look away and clear her throat. "Well, it's getting late. I guess we should head home." "Yeah, of course, I'll give you a ride," I mumble, settling the bill. The entire way to Mary's house, we are silent, each lost in our own thoughts. But now it's not a tense silence, but a cozy, understanding one. I stop at her house and she hesitantly says, "Kevin, would you like to come in for a cup of coffee? Let's talk a little more." I hesitate. On the one hand, it's late, and Lisa will be worried. But on the other hand, I so don't want to part with Mary, to lose this special closeness between us. Come what may. "I'd love to," I nod, parking the car and getting out. Mary's house greets me with warmth and the scent of her favorite floral perfume. She leads me into the living room and gestures gracefully towards the sofa. "Have a seat. I'll go make the coffee." Let me help, I offer, but Mary waves me off. Oh, don't be silly, I'll do it. Make yourself at home. She disappears into the kitchen, and I look around. Family photos hang on the walls. Little Lisa and Jenny, a young Mary with her husband, my wedding with Lisa. It's so strange to see our happy, smiling couple, remembering the dead end we're in now. My musings are interrupted by Mary entering with a tray. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee teases the nostrils. She sets the tray on the coffee table and sits down next to me, tucking her legs under herself. The light from the floor lamp softly illuminates her face, giving her features a touching, almost childlike expression. "I'm so sorry that you and Lisa are having a hard time," Mary says, sipping her coffee. "You're such a beautiful couple, made for each other." "I thought so too," I sigh. "But it seems something is broken and I don't know how to fix it. Give Lisa time, she'll come around. You're a wonderful husband. Attentive, caring, passionate." Mary suddenly falters and blushes. I also feel the blood rushing to my face. Her words sounded rather ambiguous. I try to smooth over the awkwardness. "Oh, come on, I'm just an ordinary guy. I can't always live up to Lisa's expectations." "Nonsense!" Mary impulsively leans forward and places her hand on my knee. "Any woman would dream of having a husband like you. Lisa just doesn't realize how lucky she is." I freeze. Mary's touch sends an electric shock through my body. Slowly, I raise my eyes and meet her gaze. What I see there makes my heart sink. In Mary's dilated pupils dances a flame, eclipsing her motherly tenderness. It's a look of desire, passion, lust. Obeying an unknown force, I lean towards her. Mary meets me halfway, and our lips meet in a hot kiss. I cup her face in my hands, pulling her even closer. Reason shuts off. There are only sensations, soft, insistent lips, a supple body pressing against me, the delicate scent of perfume. Unable to restrain myself any longer, I push Mary down on the sofa, looming over her. She moans and arches up to meet me, wrapping her legs around my waist. I cover her face, neck, and collarbones with feverish kisses, my hands frantically roaming her body, crumpling her clothes. The whole world seems to cease to exist. There is only us, two souls burning in the fire of passion. The morning sun assaults my eyes, even through tightly closed lids. I pry them open with difficulty and don't immediately understand where I am. An unfamiliar room, rumpled sheets, a floral scent. The events of last night come crashing down, and I fall back onto the pillow with a groan. Lord, what have I done? I slept with my own mother-in-law. Talk about the road to hell being paved with good intentions. Nausea rises in my throat, from a hangover or from disgust with myself, I'm not sure. How could I stoop so low, betray Lisa like this? I turn my head and see Mary asleep. Even in slumber, her face holds an expression of contentment and bliss. As if sensing my gaze, she opens her eyes and smiles. "Good morning, darling." Her tender tone makes me shudder. I jump out of bed and start frantically pulling on my clothes, which are scattered around the room. "Kevin, what's wrong?" Mary asks, surprised, propping herself up on her elbow. "Mary, what happened? It was a mistake, do you hear me? A terrible, unforgivable mistake." "Was it? I thought it was beautiful, magical." She reaches for me, but I recoil as if from a leper. I'm shaking from the emotions overwhelming me. Fear, shame, confusion, but above all, from hatred for myself. "No, Mary, there's nothing good about this," I hiss through clenched teeth, hastily buttoning my shirt. I shouldn't have let this happen. It's wrong, it's vile, it's a sin." "But Kevin," Mary stammers, bewildered, "I thought you wanted this too. Didn't you feel our connection, the attraction?" "I did, but it's a delusion, an infatuation. We can't give in to this, Mary. We're relatives, members of the same family. Think about Lisa." At the mention of her daughter, Mary pales and slumps, burying her face in her hands. "God, what have we done?" she says hollowly. "Lisa must never find out about this. To her, I've always been a paragon of decency, and now—" "Exactly. That's why we need to put an end to this madness before it's too late. Pretend it never happened." Mary is silent, crumpling the sheet in her white-knuckled fingers. I can feel her being torn apart by the same conflicting emotions as me: passion and guilt, attraction and duty. Finally, she raises her tear-filled eyes to me and barely audibly breathes out, You're right, Kevin. We have to put an end to this, for Lisa's sake and for our families. I nod, unable to squeeze out a word. There's a lump the size of a fist in my throat. I walk over to Mary, kiss her on the forehead, and quickly leave the room. Each step is a struggle, as if my legs are filled with lead. But I force myself to keep going, away from here, away from temptation and sin. I get in the car and sit for a long time, staring blankly ahead. My head is in a whirl, my thoughts fluttering like frightened birds. How can I go on living with this burden? How can I look Lisa in the eye? My heart is torn with remorse and longing. And at the same time, in the back of my mind, I realize, last night I experienced something unique, unrepeatable, something I sorely lacked with Lisa, a searing passion, a feeling of absolute unity of souls and bodies, the taste of forbidden fruit, and even though it's wrong, dirty, and dishonest to my wife, it's impossible to forget. I start the engine and set off. I need to go back home, to my familiar life as an exemplary family man, to pretend everything is fine, to play the role of a loving husband. It's a heavy cross to bear, but I must carry it, for Lisa's sake, for the sake of our future. One last glance in the rearview mirror at Mary's receding house. Farewell, my love. Farewell, my sin. The spell is broken. It's time to pay the piper, and the price will be high. The next few weeks drag on excruciatingly. I try to act as if everything is normal, still go to work, interact with Lisa. But inside, it's as if something vital has died. I no longer feel the taste for life, interest, or joy, only endless emptiness. My relationship with Lisa doesn't improve. If anything, it's getting worse. My feigned cheerfulness and forced energy can't hide my inner desolation. Lisa senses that something is wrong with me, but when she tries to talk, I avoid answering. We grow further and further apart. Every day, I wage a constant battle with myself. In my mind, I return to that night with Mary, to our conversation. Is this really the end? Do we really have to bury our love without even giving it a chance? These thoughts turn my insides out and tear my heart to pieces. I realize that I can't forget Mary, and I don't want to. The resolution comes a month later. One evening, when Lisa once again goes to spend the night at a friend's place after an argument, I can't take it anymore. I grab my keys, get in the car, and race to Mary's house. The whole way, only one thought pounds in my head: to see her, to touch her, to breathe in her beloved scent, to look into her eyes. Mary opens the door after the first ring. She looks pale and haggard, shadows under her eyes. But when she sees me, she is instantly transformed, as if a light has been switched on inside her. "Kevin, what are you doing here?" she asks, bewildered, but I can see in her eyes that she's glad. "I can't do this anymore, Mary," I blurt out, stepping inside and shutting the door. "I can't pretend that nothing happened, that I don't love you. It's beyond my power." Mary's breath catches. For a few seconds she stares at me with wide eyes, then throws herself on my neck with a desperate sob. "Kevin, darling, I'm going crazy without you too. I thought I would die of longing. I need you, do you hear me? Like air." I crush her in an embrace, burying my face in her fragrant hair. God, how I've missed her. Her warmth, her tenderness, her passion. Our lips find each other, merging in a hungry, ardent kiss. It's like a sip of water after a long journey through the desert. We break apart, breathing heavily. Mary's eyes hold a question and a plea. "What are we going to do, Kevin? We can't." "To hell with everything," I interrupt, cupping her face in my hands. "I love you, Mary. I want to be with you, and I don't give a damn about conventions. We'll figure something out." "But what about Lisa?" Mary asks in a barely audible whisper. "She's your wife, and I'm her mother. It will break her heart." "Believe me, our marriage has been falling apart for a long time. Lisa and I are practically strangers. A divorce will only do her good." Mary bites her lip, pondering my words. I can feel her doubts and hesitation, her willingness to sacrifice her feelings for her daughter's sake. I see the battle raging in her soul between her love for Lisa and her love for me, and this prolonged pause truly frightens me. "Mary," I say imploringly, looking into her beloved eyes, "let's take a chance. Let's fight for our happiness. Yes, it's selfish. Yes, people won't understand and will condemn us. But who cares? Don't we deserve a little bit of joy?" For a few endless moments, Mary is silent, and then she wraps her arms around my neck and breathes out, "Yes, Kevin. Yes, damn it. I choose you. I choose our love. And come what may." I hold her tight, feeling a huge weight lift off my soul. We've made our choice, selfish, immoral, sinful, but the only right one. Nobody said following your heart would be easy. It's always a risk, a struggle, a daily choice, but it's worth it. Our love is worth it. And let the whole world be against us. We will endure, because we're together, because we love each other, until the very end. Did you like this story? Let us know in the comments what you liked. Subscribe to our storytelling podcast. Also, don't forget to like and ring the bell so you don't miss more interesting stories. See you soon.